Hey guys, what's going on? Sherman here. Today we're going to be taking a look at the second generation to the FATpack series by Vanquest Gear. Now Vanquest was very generous to send these packs to me to test out and to review, so huge thanks to them. So I'm going to be kind of drawing a comparison between the first generation and the second generation in this video. I already have a review of a couple of the different sizes in the first generation. If you have not seen those, go check them out. I'll put a link in the description, along with a loadout video, because I'm not going to be doing a loadout video today. This is just going to be a review slash first look at the second generation and some of the differences between these and the first generation. So like I said, if you want to see it completely loaded out, go check out my previous review, and I'll be doing a loadout video in the future as well. From left to right, we have the 4x6, 5x8, and the massive 7x10. This thing is a monster. I really love this one. I cannot wait to really pack this one out. So a couple of different changes. Now, the same quality, the same materials and everything are used in this pack, as well as the first generation, which you kind of see here off to the side. These are all constructed of 1000 denier Cordura ballistic nylon, same as the first generation. They have the water-resistant fabric, same as the previous generation. So, YKK zippers and zipper tracks, inverted zipper tracks, and all that. So that remains the same. You know, if it's not broke, don't fix it. So all that remains the same. I'm just going to start with the 4x6, showing you the previous generation, both in wolf gray. Kind of clear these out of the way so you guys can concentrate on these two. So over here on the left, I'm holding the first generation, and then this is the second generation. So this is the new one. So you see, of course, the same size, same profile and everything, same color. For some reason, this wolf gray on the right looks a little bit different than this wolf gray. It may just be the way the light's shining on it. But I don't know. But anyway, same profile and everything. So the first noticeable change is the handle. So honestly, something kind of bugged me from the beginning with this pack, and it's one of those things, I didn't even notice it really until I got the new version. But looking at this handle and then thinking back on mine that I carry with me in my EDC pack, the grab handle always gets, it's always laying down, and it always kind of gets pressed down by something, and it's hard to get to, which kind of defeats the purpose of the quick deployment feature of this pack. So mine, like I said, is always laying down in my bag. Sometimes it gets stuck up under my carabiner or stuck up under another piece of gear. So what they did with the Gen-2 is they made the grab handle a little bit smaller, so it can't flop around and go behind the pack and get concealed and hidden. So they made it smaller, and they also made it a lot more rigid. You can see a lot more rigid than this. Now I'm sure this is still serving many people well, and is a a good, I think, design. I think they just this is the way that they improved it. So another little change is they added this piece of red hook and loop, same as like the ITS FATpack or ITS Fat Boy packs. Add that little red indicator, let you know that's the grab handle. That's what you pull. I like quick visuals like that. When you have a lot of camouflage, a lot of earth tones, subdued colors, I like having the contrast. And some people may think that's unnecessary, but I think under stress and low light situations or areas, it's nice to have that little contrast as an indicator. But of course, it is removable, so you can take it off if you don't want it. But I happen to like it, so I'm going to leave mine on there. I always found it, like I said, to be an advantage. However, if you are going for, camouflage, don't want to be seen, it's going to stand out, you want to take that off. The hook and loop panel is a little bit smaller because of this design. You can see here again the old one on the left hand. So the hook and loop is covered up a little bit by this new grab handle where it's sitting on top of the hook and loop basically. So you have a smaller hook and loop panel on the 4x6 model. So not a huge deal. You can still get your blood type on there. You can still get your medical patches. Here's, I believe, what is this, a 1.5 by 1.5 inch? Maybe it's a 2 inch by 2 inch. And it fits on here. You got to kind of move it under. It fits on here just fine. It's a little bit concealed, like I said, by the new carry handle, but it's no big deal, at least to me anyway, with the 4x6. So you have that, and it does make it a little bit easier to open up because it's more rigid, and you can see where it's sewn into the sides here for extra support. So I mean, this thing, super rigid. I think it's a little bit easier to pull, to get onto, and to hold on to. If you have really, really big meat hooks for fingers, it might be a little bit more difficult because there's not a whole lot of space to put your fingers. I have small fingers, so that may be a disadvantage to some people. If it is, you could fashion fashion some paracord around there to help you pull it out. Another change on the inside, which I thought was a welcome change. Here again, you guys can see this is the same design as the previous models. Nothing changed there, with the exception of these smaller elastic loops added right there in the seam here. What I like with these is to hold cylindrical objects such as EpiPens, markers if you needed, chest darts or decompression needles. Just anything you can imagine, just anything cylindrical. So that's kind of neat, and I like that they added those because it was a little bit harder trying to put those cylindrical objects and these other side elastic loops, or these side elastic straps, because they were still too small for these straps, and sometimes they fall out when you open this pack. So these are really nice and perfect for those cylindrical objects. So that's just a neat, very simple, minor alteration, but it made this pack, a lot easier to organize. So, and I kind of did that to get you to the next alteration. Something that really annoyed me, actually, about the first one, is that, once you open the first one, you go to close it back up. Now, of course, there's different ways to do it. I always like to close that part. Now, when it comes to zipping these back up, these little side zippers, you have to try to grab on to something down here in the bottom. The middle, you can't really grab onto the middle. You kind of can, but it gets awkward, especially when these packs are full. So you catch yourself trying to grab onto something down here, usually pinching the very bottom of the pack, and then, trying to zip this thing all the way up. Now, yeah, I think I even mentioned that in my review. You don't have to be too quick zipping this up. It's, unzipping it that needs to be quick. That's the important part. But still, for convenience, they added 2 nylon loops, one on each side. So when you're zipping these back up, you have something to grab onto underneath it. So in my opinion, it makes that much faster, much easier to zip up. So a neat alteration. I like that, actually. They also made I kind of call this the secondary grab handle. That's what if you're just carrying this like I do, I don't attach this to a pack. I carry this down in my EDC pack. So to open it up, that's why I put this carabiner on there to give me something to pull away from. Basically give me 2 grab handles so I can fillet this open. So it was hard in the Generation 1. You do have this little bitty fob here. And it's not hard, you can do it. Here again though, under stress, your hands are slippery, you're wearing gloves, whatever you're doing, you want it to be as easy as possible. So they did make that a little bit bigger. At least it seems anyway. It seems bigger. So that was a nice change in my opinion. And then I actually don't know why I didn't start with this, but on the outside, the last change that they have made with the 4x6 is that they've added these 2 elastic straps to both sides. So the previous model, you had Molly, which was really wide Molly. It was kind of hard to attach anything to it because it would slide around on both sides. What they did with the Generation 2 was they added these elastic straps. And then the one Molly in the middle. So what that's good for is, of course, anything you can imagine. But mainly, my first thought be scissors, or with these little pieces of the really thin, like the really light tricot material hook and loop strap. Put the scissors in here. Get this hook around the handle to hold that in. You may want to do it facing the other way, but Just to give you an example, you know, put your shears behind there. You can put some gauze rolls back behind there, or a cat tourniquet, or any kind of tourniquet. Yeah, put your cat tourniquet in there, holds it very snug, it's not going to fall out, and then you have a really nice holder for your cat tourniquet, so you don't have to do the rubber band trick or get some sort of aftermarket carrier for this. You just, when you need it, pull it out and get to work. So that's a really nice change that they made with the 4x6. Now the 5x8. Now the 5x8 Gen 2 is the same as the 5x8 Gen 1, with the exception of the things that I went over with the 4x6. You know, it has the two elastic straps on either side. It has the you know, the new handle with the red indicator. It has the cylindrical straps on the inside, just like the 4x6. The main difference with this version, or this size rather, obviously is the size. But this one has Vanquest's new airlock system, which is this cool new MOLLE system. So what's really neat about this is that it's MOLLE, but it's flush. You know, whereas normally MOLLE is added onto the external layer. So this is flush, and it's also sewn with hook and loop on top of it. So like I was saying about how you don't have a lot of room with the 4x6 loop field to put your patches, but like I was saying that it's not that big a deal with the other sizes, is because they have the airlock system, so you have this big panel of hook and loop. So if you wanted to put name tape, bigger patches, maybe other hook and loop style pouches and attach it to the front of this, you can. So that's the main difference with this one. So like I said, it has all the alterations that the 4x6 has. You know, the little fobs down here and everything. So this one has a slip pocket, just like the Gen 1. You have the little slip pocket. This slip pocket actually feels a little bit wider. I don't know how they did that. I guess, cut down on some slack up here. Or maybe it's just the way that I've compressed. But anyway, and then obviously though, the main difference is the airlock system. So it's kind of cool in that you can see what's in this pocket through these little slits, because it runs back behind there. A con could be, dust and dirt, debris can get in there and possibly damage any kind of contents you have in there. Like if you wanted to store gloves in there, now they'll be compromised a little bit. But you can, I would imagine you could store gloves in there just fine. But what you get with this is, like I said, along with putting hook and loop pouches on the front, you could also put other small, it'd have to be small, MOLLE attachments on the front. Or weave pins in through the webbing, or a pair of shears. It'd be more secure on the side, but you can put a pair of shears on there if you want. Just whatever whatever your heart desires. So that's cool. I really like the addition of that airlock, that new airlock system. So that's the 5x8. Now moving on to the behemoth here. Which this is a new one, a new size they introduced not too long ago actually. This was the newest size. This one is the 7x10. So it just easily dwarfs all of these. Like you can see, the 4x6. This one has just the regular MOLLE on the sides. You have the 3 rows. So you do not have the elastic, which is kind of disappointing. I wish this one also had the elastic. But I guess they figured this one's so big, you don't have to worry about putting your tourniquet on the outside or anything like that. You can just throw it inside. But it has the same fobs here to help zip it up. A bunch of MOLLE on the back for mounting. Same grab handle. Of course, this one, just because of the size of the pack, this one is a lot easier to get your hand under and to pull. But same red indicator. This also has the airlock MOLLE / hook and loop system on the front with the much bigger slip pocket. You can see. Now also the main difference between this one, and like I said, it's the same. It's almost the same as the Gen 1. I don't have the first generation of this one, so this is my first experience with this one. But to open it up, which that's actually my main complaint with this one, is that for some reason this may change once I get it full, because I do plan on packing this one out. Is that when you're pulling it, it kind of pinches in the middle. and it's not really good for the hook and loop. You can see, guys, it's hard to explain, but you can see what I'm talking about. It's putting all the force right there in the middle of that hook and loop. So that's a disadvantage with this design. Whereas if it was like the original, not that one. If it was, I'm just going to use this one as an example, where it's sewn, you know, the two stress points in the front here, as opposed to the side, I feel like it would work a little bit better. So that's my main gripe with this one. I think that because of the width of this pack, the grab handle should be sewn to the top here by the hook and loop field. So that's my only complaint, because this one's hard to open. But once you get it open, you have a ton of space. It has the same vertical ladder system like with the bigger sizes. You can see here, kind of running, you know, running vertically along the flap there. But the main difference between this size is that you have this really cool little additional pouch right here. Whereas the first generation, it was hook and loop, and you could just rip it off. This has little hook and loop straps, which does make it more secure, and you can swap it from left side to right side, just depending on how you want it. But this is a really cool little pocket with an extremely thick, really thick clear vinyl with mesh window, so you can see what you put in here. So this would be really good for your ointments or different stuff like that. You want to put flat stuff in here, maybe your small band-aids, moleskins, you know, stuff like that. Like I said, you probably want flat. And it'd also be good for ointments in that if the ointment pouch were for some reason leak or get smushed and, you know, bust open, it would be protected inside of this as opposed to with the rest of your contents. You know, it's good to keep that kind of stuff isolated, especially if it's like iodine or alcohol. So that's pretty cool, but it is removable, so you can take just this out if you want to keep, you know, just medication. Somebody needs some meds, you just rip this out and take it to them instead of, you know, possibly your whole pack. Or if this is mounted to a much bigger backpack or maybe a vest, or you wouldn't put this on a vest, maybe your belt, something, you wouldn't have to take this entire thing out or take your whole bag to the person. Just, you know, just take this. So that's another thought. But anyway, guys, those are the differences. I just wanted to make this video and show you guys, because I've already reviewed the FATpack series in just a couple of sizes that I have, and I really like the small changes that they've made. I think that they're a good change. It's not like one of those unnecessary changes. What I was telling the guys at Vanquest, you know, these were, I think, necessary changes in a lot of ways to increase efficiency. They're not just well, we changed this just for the sake of changing it, to say we did something different. Yeah, I think these were effective changes. So, hope you enjoyed this video. Like I said, I've already reviewed the FATpacks. If you guys want to see an in-depth review of the materials and everything like that, I'll put a link in the description along with a loadout video to my everyday carry first aid kit. And definitely expect some loadout videos in the future of these other packs, because I definitely want to utilize these in my setup. So alright guys, if you have any questions on any of these packs, please feel free to ask. It's never a burden to ask me questions, and I'll usually always respond to people. So definitely go and check these packs out. I'll post a link in the description to where you can buy these, and, you know, to get any additional information you want. Alright guys, have a great rest of your night. Stay safe, stay sharp, and God bless. Sherman 614, peace.